Earlier this year, we renovated my office space. One thing we didn't plan for, though, was my headphone collection, so in this video, we're gonna do something about it. I'm Turi, and welcome back to Whengeekscraft. I have spent a lot of time on Goodwill auctions, looking up old and new headphones. Because of channels like DankPods, my interest in headphones has been renewed, and I need a collection of them. Because of this, I have 17 pairs of headphones that need a home. In this project, I want to accomplish two things. One, make an effective storage solution for the headphones, and two, paint the room to match my Miami cyberpunk vibe. Let's start with the easy part, painting. And by start with painting, I actually mean start by planning the French cleats, to then plan where the paint lines will go.
A lot of headphone space.
With the cleats outlined on the wall, I can use a paper template to lay out a design I came up with. It's a pretty simple angle design that plays off the computer case I made a few years back, and the angle of the hex art we made recently. Since this is my office and I can do whatever I want, I selected two of my favorite colors as of late, pink and teal, keeping in line with the cyberpunk theme I'm morphing this room into. Because I didn't need much, I got the expensive paint and it went on nice and easy. Key to super clean lines was removing the tape as it was drying, and the green tape. It is much more worth using over the cheap blue stuff. With the painting done, it's time to start making the French cleats. Over at the table saw, with the blade set to a 45-degree angle, Nicole and I ripped down 8 1x2 boards. We then put down a tarp to start staining. The stain we used is the same stain that is on the office desk, fast-drying water-based Jacobin wood stain. After allowing them some time to dry, we powered up the drill press and put recessed screw holes at specific spots on each board, allowing all the boards to have an even look when on the wall. With the wall-mounted cleats ready to go, it was time to find which holes would line up with the wall framing and which would need anchors. Spoiler alert, most needed anchors.
You gotta put 32 of these things in the wall.
Yeah.
We used a laser cut jig to help make sure each following board was applied on the wall at the correct spacing. We wanted to make sure that this all stayed even, so we used the jig to ensure nothing was placed where it wasn't supposed to be. With all the wall painted and the cleats installed, it's time to make the hangers. Our Shapeoko was entrusted to create the main body of the mounts out of some ash. The square end mill worked great to cut out the pieces and drill the alignment holes. I designed this all in Fusion 360, though because I haven't taken the dive into the CAM tools, I kept the design more simple and went to Carbide Create to make the G-code. Weird side note, the ash lumber we used has been in my family for over 30 years. My father cut it from my grandfather's land in Minnesota before I was born. It sat in my childhood house basement until I was able to get it when my parents moved out a few years ago. And I'm finally feeling confident enough to use it, so why not use it on something hyper-specific and strange? Once the Shapeoko was done, I finished cutting the pieces out on the bandsaw. Then, after a quick cleanup of the disc sander, I sanded what the bandsaw left over. quickly sanding off all those dangly bits with a bit of sandpaper. The design requires the body piece to be screwed into a French cleat, so I used a countersink bit so the screw will be flush into the rear of the slot. To make sure the rear cleat fits well, I marked the length directly from the piece it will be fastened to. Once again, the bandsaw takes off the majority of the material to make the pieces match. And the disc sander cleans up the rest. As I am wont to do, I use Danish oil to finish the piece. So you've seen the process of making one, but I had to make a ton more. I created two types of mount designs, one for headphones with a cable, and for those without. Two 3D printed parts make up the actual hanger. Assembled, it looks like this. The two pegs mate the 3D printed piece and the wood piece together. And they hold very tightly with just friction. They all went together well and were satisfying to assemble. Placing all the mounts and headphones on the wall to be aesthetically pleasing was a bit harder than I thought, but we got it there. It's done. Now let's see what beauty shots of a wall look like. Huge shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. It's because of you guys we're able to make whatever we want, so we truly appreciate your support. And if you want the files from this project, they'll be available over on our Patreon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all next time.